Hi, I wanted to give a sample DAW Tour Beat 2 about sampling and chopping a little bit. And so I'm taking one of my projects and showing you how that's done. I always use the Serato sampler. And whenever, basically how you use it is when you create a new software instrument track, such as this, it's already kind of set to default to keep the Serato in there. Because I've had it turned on, but basically you just make sure that you press the Serato one. And so this one's currently on, and so when you press it, you can load any file you want. And so if I were to, oops, I had all my special files over here. Like if I were to do this one, boop, we just stick that in there. Now it's in, and you have the entire file. You press play. And so you can change the key signature as much as you want. And you can't press spacebar for this to play, otherwise it just plays through the actual thing. That's the technical word. Just the files you have, not through the plugin. And it's already set to 120 beats because it's synced, so you can either keep it at its original file tempo, or you can sync it and then you can just time stretch it. I think that's a little bit easier to decrease or increase whatever you're working with. So I'm going to just choose a selection here, and I have this set up to my keyboard actually. So whatever notes or whatever places I decide to chop something up, I can actually just play on my keyboard. So we're gonna do J. And let me see if I can find that note. Sometimes I always forget which note is what. See, I'm pressing one note here, and that's doing G, which is also the same as J. 1 second. There we go. So I'm pressing B on my keyboard, which is the J. But so I'm just gonna shift and delete these, because I don't want these to save. I want these to be different places, now that I know where I am. So I can save one spot there, and then if I want a new spot here, I can just press C. And so I can chop it right there. And that could be my thing. You can also kind of extend this a little bit, so it just plays that portion. So that's how you can chop things and then stick them wherever you want into here. But when you do that, you have to press record. And then when you press the notes on the keyboard, they'll show up. And then what's also fun, I use this a lot. I like to reverse. So let's go here, and we're gonna make this D. Oops, that's L. There we go. And we're gonna press reverse here. So you can have a lot of fun taking different segments of the song and then just kind of making your own melody line. I don't know if that would really work with anything, but definitely these two. Yeah. You know, just stuff like that is fun to do. And so I could just record that and put that in my segment. But I kind of want to show you what I had in mind for some things I already sampled. So we're going to go straight into here. This one. So whenever you upload this again on a new track, it's going to show places that it's saved that you've marked for sampling. So this one is different from the last track I had, so they're separate. But when you press play, it's going to automatically show you what I've done. And honestly, I really kind of kept these the same. The only thing I did differently is I made some parts, I've kept the key signature the same or different depending on how I felt like I needed to, because the song I had, I needed to change key signature, and then this song, let me backtrack a little bit. I used another song which had piano in it. That was one key signature, and then this sample I'm using, I had to change to a different key signature. But there's some notes that don't show up during some of these percussive elements, so I switch the key signature back and forth just to add a little variety. You'll see what I mean when I play it. Oh, yeah, and so that's kind of like just playing through here, but through here I time stretched it a lot. Yeah, so that's that. And then I did also just loop it normally for the piano, because I also use Serato just to, just for time flexing purposes. I just find it easier to do it all through Serato than just straight through Logic Pro. And so there, I didn't even extend this out all the way. I just kind of held one note and played it the entire time, and then finished recording it and then copied and pasted it. So there's multiple ways you can do this. I mean, this, I just wanted the full phrase here and I wanted to get everything, so I just held one note down, which made it easier, and it was already time stretched to what I want, and I just moved it one key signature down just because I want it to be a little different from the original. But, that's different from what I did over here, where I played around a little bit more. So that's basically how you can chop. You can, include more loops or, stabs. I think even right here is pretty much what I would consider a stab. I include this one percussive part. So right here. Boop. Go back to that one. Yeah, so I just took that ha 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 and made it as a transition right into more of that sampling, which is what would be considered a chop. And so if I didn't have this, I could just, put these everywhere all I wanted, but I kind of like to highlight the different parts of sampling that I do. So that's pretty much it, I think. If I can just check to make sure, triggering samples, looping samples, finishing a beat. Yeah, and so you just kind of play around until you feel like you have something full. So you can listen to this whole project online that I uploaded. But I'll just play a segment for you so you can kind of... And so I felt like with those amount of samplings, it was kind of finished. And then you just Control A and you Control B, you bounce it, and you save it. So I already saved this, and exported it, but that's pretty much what you do. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.